So, today turned out to be the day. Last week, the 18th of October, I put in an order with Simionic for their G1000. And so they gave me an estimated delivery date of the 24th of October, which is tomorrow. Today I got a knock on the door, not thinking anything of it, open the door, it's DHL man. DHL man had 3 boxes for me. Those 3 boxes are my PFD, my MFD, and my audio panel. So since I didn't see a whole lot out there on the internet, I just figured I'd do an unboxing video so you guys can see what all you get with this thing and explain how the whole thing kind of works and why I went with this one over some of the competitors that there are out there. Because there's some other stuff out there, but again, you'll see. I'll talk about it later. So let's get to some unboxing. All right. So first box. This is the audio panel. So check that out. Looks about true to life. Pretty light. All plastic. Full buttons. COM1 mic 1 through 3, and then COM 1 through 3. 3 obviously won't be used for the Cessna. That's what I'm flying, the 182. Or, I'm sorry, the 172. You got COM 1/2, tel, PA, speaker, marker mute. You got high sensitivity, DME, nav 1 and 2, ADF, AUX, main squelch, play, pilot, co-pilot. You've got your dual rotary here. And then you've got your display backup, which is basically that's your manual to reversionary mode. If you don't know what that is, if you're flying along and one of your displays malfunctions, it goes out, it should normally just pull some data from the messed up display and move it over to your good one. If it doesn't, then that's the manual way to do it. You would push the button, from what I've read. Then you've got your USB here. USB, which again to the back of this would go here, strictly for power. And then there's this other port here for display, for data. It would go to the back of this here, and then the other end goes to the back of your MFD or your PFD, which I'll show you where that is when I get to that. And then you got your hardware bag here, which has got a couple Allens and a bunch of screws in it. And then you've got your metal mounts here, in case you wanted to mount this between your two, your MFD and your PFD, because they come with the metal stands. And then again, some more mounting hardware. So, but the good part really is the bezels. Which I can't wait to get to those. So let me put all of this away, and then let's get to the good stuff. Really well packed though, and again, coming from China, it probably has to be, so that it doesn't get destroyed along the way. So let's go check out the other stuff. Alright, so now it's time to open some PFD, MFD magic, I hope. Alright, let's see what we got here. Alright. Nice. Alright. Check this out. So, something that the audio panel was missing, probably because it's brand new, but again, it's online, so not a huge deal, is a user manual. Sweet. So, user manual that goes over, here's your overview, unpacking all your stuff that's in there, your stand, your USB stuff, all that. We'll go over all that stuff. And then how the whole thing goes together, how your iPad fits in. And actually, now that I think about it, people are probably thinking like, iPad? What do you mean? So here's the deal with Simionic, and this is why I went with them over some of the other companies, because There's another company I looked at out there. I know there's a few. There's one out in California. There's one somewhere else. Some of the problems with the other companies, though, there's some pretty significant issues. So one of them is just slow as shit. Like they're just really slow, and you just don't have time to wait. Like, get me my stuff. Like, I want my stuff. Anyway, the other issue with one of the companies is that, and this is the problem that I see with, I think most of them have this problem, is that when you get your bezel, it requires like an HDMI input on your video card. So, like me, in my cockpit that I have, I've got one video out to my main monitor, and then I've got two to my 40-inch screens on the side. So there's already 3 spots on my video card that are taken. It leaves me one more. Right now, I have my DIY GNS 530 that I built that's plugged in there. And I tell you, when I plug that thing in, I'll bet you it probably stole like 10 frames. And again, as somebody that does flight simulator type stuff, you know, the last thing that you want is anything stealing performance. And that's what it does. But not this unit. And this is what I really like about this. So check this out. So this is what you get. And looking at this bezel, first thing I noticed, it's pretty damn heavy. And I was like, why is it heavy? Like, what's going on here? So the enclosure here this is metal. Like all this is metal, this is all metal. The plastic parts are the actual face. So the face here is plastic. And I think that's how the real one is. So, and so the way that this works, and this is how you don't steal performance, so Simionic just relatively recently started making bezels. What they're known for is their G1000 software. It's an actual app. So they have an MFD app and they have a PFD app. And I have them both, and I've had them for quite a while. I think they're $15 each. I might have got them on sale. Maybe I didn't. Either way, they're great because they work just like the real thing. And so what you would do is you get an iPad. You can use the iPad, the Gen 4, from what I understand. You can use the iPad Air, the Air 2. You can use the iPad Pro, or you can use the brand new 2017, I think it's just called an iPad now. The key, though, is that it has to be 9.7 inch. The screen has to be 9.7 inch, corner to corner. So just, it can't be the larger 10 inch or 12 inch Pros, any of that. It has to be the 9.7. They recommend not going with an iPad Gen 1 or 2, and I'm assuming the Gen 3 is the same because the processing power behind it, I think it's like 1 gig of memory or something. Or I'm sorry, it's like less than a gig. It's like 500 megabytes or something. And they said that's not enough to run the MFD software. So go between the Gen 4 and all the way up to whatever the latest iPad is. Just make sure it's the right size. And it talks about that in here. The other thing, before I get into what's actually going on here, power requirements. And this is pretty important. And I caught this today, this afternoon when I was looking. And it talks about USB power requirements here. With your iPad plugged in and the backlight, which, by the way, yeah, this backlights. Everything that's white on here, it all backlights, which is, again, awesome. With backlight on, you're looking at 1,000 milliamps. And with the backlight off, 800 milliamps is what it's calling for. Without the iPad plugged in, so it's not plugged into this unit, you're looking at least 200 milliamps and then 20 milliamps if the backlight is off. So, and then here's your little warning here. This is what I caught today. According to power consumption listed above, the minimum USB power output requirement is 1,000 milliamp and 5 watts. To give it enough margin or enough room, just to be safe, a USB power adapter, meaning a power block, with the capability of 2,000 milliamps and 10 watts output is recommended. And so first thing I thought is like, where do I get one of those? Well, you get one every time you buy an iPad. That block that you get, that you plug the USB cable into, that thing is 12 watts and somewhere between 2200 and 2500 milliamps from what I read. So you have to get iPads anyway, and so that's what you're going to use. You're going to use those. You're going to put the iPad in here, and I'll show you that in another video. You put the iPad, you take the back off of this, you put the iPad in here, and then you plug in the lightning adapter to the iPad, and then the other end goes down in here. There's a little USB right there, and then it gets wrapped up in there. And so cable stays inside of here, flip to the back, and then your provided USB cable comes out here and then goes to that power block. It doesn't have to move data. So it's strictly for power purposes. So this won't go into it. Originally I was like, oh, it goes into a USB hub. It does not go into a USB hub. It goes directly to power because you need it to power this thing. And then the other thing on the back here is that's your data going from your audio panel to this thing, which I think I showed you that earlier. So, but let's look at this thing then. Awesome. So you got your volume and your push ID, and it does push. You got your your nav radio control here, and your swap button, and that is a push button. You got your heading for your heading bug, push button. You got all your autopilot controls here, and then you've got your altitude control here, which again, it is another dual rotary with a push button. You got all your soft keys here, and these feel really good, by the way. And then you've got your other volume push button and squelch here. You've got your comm radio control here, when your swap button there. Then you've got your course is the inside, and your barometer to be able to change your altimeter here is the outside, and that is a push button also. And then, and this part I'm super excited about, please let this work. So this should spin, and it should be a joystick, and it should be a push button. Hopefully they didn't like take shortcuts here. So push button, yes it is, and spin, yes it is, and it absolutely is a joystick, which is awesome. I'm super impressed. So then you got your controls here, your direct to, your menu, your flight plan, your procedure, clear, enter, your FMS, outer ring and inner ring, and it is also a push button. This thing, like no kidding, this thing looks the part. Like it really does. I can't wait to put my iPads in here. So also inside the box here, which by the way, really well packaged, like high density foam here. Like your stuff is not going to get smashed because again, it's coming from China. So I don't know what DHL does. Maybe they throw stuff around. I don't know. So then you've got your stand. If you were going to mount this like just on your desk or whatever, it would just, that's how it would kind of sit on your desk like that. Yeah, like that, and you'd mount it to the front there, and then you'd put the other one next to it, and then you put the audio panel kind of in between the two. I personally will not be using that. So, and then you've got your other stuff here, like here, you got your little tiny wrench, and then you got another couple Allens. And then all this hardware in here, this is all your screws and nuts for attaching all that stuff. All right, so for me personally, I'm gonna have to find a way to, like I'll cut my hole in my panel. It's gonna have to be really close to get this to fit properly. And then I'm guessing I'm gonna have to notch it right here, and then either get longer screws to get it to grab onto something, or I don't know. I'll figure out some way to get this mounted in the panel. But like this thing, from what I'm seeing, is totally worth the price. But, oh, so price. Let's talk about that for a minute. So the normal price on their website is listed at, it's right around $1,000. It's like $998 or something like that. That's US. But right now, they've got a sale price. It's like $600 and something dollars. It's going to give you, I don't know, it's going to give you like $300 off. So again, when you're like me and you're buying 2 of these, and then your audio panel, you're going to be into it for some money. Oh, and by the way, then there's the shipping. So they only have one form of shipping. Their one form of shipping is DHL, out of China. So, and it's DHL like express service. Holy crap, like express, like no kidding. When they say express, I told you, this thing showed up a day early. So, what you're going to pay, each of these bezels that you buy is going to be $75 shipping to, I'm assuming anywhere in the US is going to be $75. I'm in Louisiana right now, and it's going to be $75 per bezel. They don't do, apparently they don't do combined shipping, which is unfortunate, but you know what, whatever. Price of admission, I guess. And then the audio panel, which I still have right here. So your audio panel, that box, because it's about half the size, it's going to be $50 shipping. So each one of these, $75 times 2, $150 plus $50 for the audio panel. You're going to pay $200 shipping. So my total here was $1,500 and something, and then all said and done, it was like $1,700. So, or was it 1,500? 13 and 15? I don't know. Anyway, don't worry about what I got. So again, I think it was $668. I think is the sale price, and it's normally $998. Just look on the website, Simionic. But again, the shipping is going to seem high, but again, it's not taking the slow boat out of China, literally. It's Air Express, 5 days to Louisiana. But yeah, this is going to be pretty badass. So you imagine, I'll have this one here, my other one on the other side there. Like, no kidding, it's gonna look the part, and from what I've seen in the software, it's gonna do most of the things that the G1000 software does. Now, I did see on their website there are some exceptions, but it seems like they're continuing to develop the software. And from what I read online, the developer said that he tried getting with Garmin to see if maybe they would, share the software, like all the features and all that, and they were like, no, we don't give that out to the public. So he's like, okay, well, I'll just create my own. And that's where Simionic came from. He created his own software, and it took off. Like, people loved it. It's great. I know a lot of people use it. And then the idea, I guess, came about like, hey, you make this really good product. Have you ever thought about doing bezels? And I think I saw that like a year ago, and now like here it is. Like, I've got it. I've got 2 of them. And then I didn't see anything back then about the audio panel, and now here it is. I mean, it was released, like when I decided to buy this was released the day that I went to go put my order in on the bezels. I went to put my bezel order in, and I was like, oh, wait, what's this? And this showed up that night on their website. So this is brand new for them. So hopefully it works really well. I did see in there, though, software-wise, that the reversionary mode, it's not happening right now, which I don't really care right now. Maybe it's something that they work on. I'm sure things like synthetic vision, it's not part of the software. I don't know if it ever will be. I'll ask on the website to see if he ever plans on doing that, or if it's even possible. Maybe it's not possible. Who knows? But again, what I have here, I am not the least bit disappointed. This is going to last a really long time. The software is solid. He did a really good job. I can't wait to get it installed. So next video that I'll do a video where I actually put the iPads in this thing, and we'll see how hard or easy it is to get them in there. And we'll fire them up. I don't know, we'll take them over to my other PC, and we'll fire them up, and we'll see what happens. All right? So till the next time, I'll see you.